James Carter had always dreamed of becoming a professional marathon runner. From a young age, he had watched athletes cross the finish line, their faces soaked in sweat and triumph, and he knew that one day, he wanted to be one of them. He trained relentlessly, waking up before dawn, running miles through the countryside, pushing his body beyond its limits. By the time he was 23, he was one of the most promising runners in the country, with sponsors beginning to take notice. Then came the accident. A reckless driver ran a red light one evening while James was on a routine jog. The impact sent him flying across the street, leaving him with a shattered leg and a fractured spirit. The doctor's words echoed in his mind, "You'll be able to walk again, James. But running professionally? I wouldn't get your hopes up." For months, James lay in his hospital bed, staring at the ceiling, feeling like his dream had been ripped away. The first time James tried to stand, pain shot through his body like fire. He gritted his teeth, clutching onto the hospital bars, refusing to give in to the agony. "Just one step," he whispered to himself. His mother, Margaret, watched with tears in her eyes. She had always been his biggest supporter, and now, she saw her son fighting an invisible battle, one that most people would have given up on. Months turned into a year. Physical therapy was grueling, but James pushed himself harder than ever before. His old coach, Mr. Thompson, visited him one day and handed him a stopwatch. "This is yours, James. I want you to time your progress. One day, you'll run again." James held on to that stopwatch like a lifeline. 2 years after the accident, James took his first jog. It was a slow, limping motion at first, but it was running. Each morning, he ran a little farther, a little faster. People in town started noticing. They saw the young man who had once been a star, now struggling to reclaim his former self. Some doubted him. "He'll never be the same. His leg won't hold up in a real race. He should just give up." But James had learned something important: pain was temporary, but giving up would haunt him forever. He trained harder than he ever had before, waking up at 4 a.m., pushing himself beyond exhaustion. His body screamed for rest, but his heart pushed forward. At 27, James stood at the starting line of his first marathon since the accident. The same people who once pitied him now watched in awe. The gun went off. James started slow, pacing himself, feeling the rhythm of his heartbeat match his footsteps. Mile after mile, he pushed through fatigue, through doubt, through memories of pain. At mile 20, his leg throbbed, a painful reminder of his past. He could stop. He could quit. But then he heard his mother's voice in his mind, "Just one step." He clenched his fists and ran faster. When he crossed the finish line, the world blurred. Tears streamed down his face as the crowd erupted in cheers. He had done the impossible. James didn't just finish the marathon, he placed third. But more importantly, he proved that no fall was too great, no pain too unbearable, and no dream too distant. His story became one that inspired thousands. Young athletes who faced injuries looked up to him. People who had lost hope found light in his journey. James Carter wasn't just a runner anymore. He was a symbol of resilience. No matter how hard life knocks you down, you always have a choice: to stay down or rise again.